DreAllDay.com.
What up, everybody? Dre Baldwin, DreAllDay.com. Sweet's motivation is about the things that we get told and how the words that we hear paint pictures for us. I was listening to this speaker called this guy named Zig Ziglar. He's actually passed away now, but Zig is a well-known speaker. Any of you listen to personal development, or you know anybody who does, or anybody who's a speaker in the business, all of you've heard of Zig. Well, one time Zig was telling this story that he was talking to this baseball player. He was like a retired Hall of Fame baseball player. And the guy was saying they were at some type of seminar or something. And the baseball player was saying to Zig, listen, Zig, when I was a kid and I'd be practicing baseball, my dad would always say to me, son, you keep throwing the ball like that, one day you're going to be a major leaguer. You keep practicing like that every day, you're going to be a major leaguer. You keep swinging the bat the way that you're swinging it, you're going to be a Hall of Fame baseball player, son. You're going to be one of the best baseball players that ever played the game. And he said, you know what, Zig? My dad was absolutely right. Everything that my dad used to say to me, the place my dad told me that I would be when I grew up, that's exactly where I'm at, because he used to tell it to me every single day. He imprinted it on my mind that that's exactly where I would be. And at the same time that guy was talking, there was a guy who was a prisoner. He was in prison at the time. He was within earshot of the conversation. And he turned around and looked at both of them and he said, you know what? You're absolutely right. Because right now, I'm exactly where my dad told me I would be, locked up in prison. So in life, ladies and gentlemen, the things that you hear, the things that get imprinted on your mind, the things that you are exposed to, whether that be something that you see, something that you hear, something that you feel, something that you physically do, all those things make a strong impression on your subconscious mind. On your conscious mind is one thing, because you hear everything, but we don't register everything. Like if you was to actually think about that, wherever you at right now, there's a million things you could be paying attention to, but you're paying most attention to the words that I'm saying, or my image on the screen, or my voice as I'm talking. You can't pay attention to everything that's going on in your environment at once. Those things that you pay attention to the most, that register with you the most, that imprint on your mind, play a huge role in where you end up in life and where you go, what you do, what you think, how you act, and what your virtue turns out to be. So here's the thing. So you might be thinking to yourself, well, Dre, if somebody's saying something to me, how can I control that? You can't control what other people say to you, but you can control, number one, you have a huge amount of control over the type of environments you expose yourself to. So if you're in an environment around people who are not uplifting you, who are not telling you positive things that are going to help you get to wherever it is you want to go, you have a choice to not be around those people. You can choose to not be around those people. You can stop hanging around those friends who are doing the things that are not helping you. You can stop watching the TV shows that are not giving you anything that's helping you get from where you at to where you want to go. You can stop listening to stuff that's not helping you get from point A to point B. You can start listening to stuff that does, because there's a lot of it available, and again, all of it is free. You can find a Zig Ziglar on YouTube. You can find a Napoleon Hill, Tony Robbins, or Les Brown. All these guys are available on YouTube. Even if you never heard of them, you just heard of them just now. So go watch any of those guys, and when you watching one of their videos, you know what? On the side of the screen where they got what else you should watch, it'll be related type content. So you'll learn about guys that you never even heard of. I learned about a lot of these guys. I had never heard of them, but I would watch one, and I would say, oh, well, this one looks interesting. I never heard of this dude. Let me listen to this. And then I have a new person I was listening to. So all this stuff is available to you all to listen to. And I got a guide on my website, on the Guys and Tips page, called Recommended Reading. And you can read about this stuff. But anyway, the things that you allow to be imprinted on your mind play a huge role to you, because they go to your subconscious mind. And as I talked about in the video where I talked about mirror neurons, if you didn't see that, the stuff that you imprint on your brain the most, your subconscious mind is working on, is marinating on your subconscious mind even when you're not thinking about it. So you got to make sure, you got to protect your brain the same way you'll protect your goods and services. Like if you got a cell phone, you won't let nobody just walk up and take your cell phone and walk away and not do nothing, right? None of you would do that. So why would you let somebody come and imprint your mind with negativity? Because what's on your mind is much more valuable than whatever you paid for that phone. Because any one of us could lose a phone and buy a new phone, right? You can't buy a new brain. If you waste 5 years of your life because you had some negative thoughts imprinted on it, you can't buy 5 years back. So the point that I'm trying to make is that you got to protect your brain way more than you would protect your phone or your car or your new t-shirt or your sneakers, because you could buy a new one of all those. You can't buy a new brain and you can't buy time. So the things that you allow to be imprinted on you, the environments that you allow yourself to be around, they have a huge impact. Whether you believe they do or they don't, I'm telling you that they do. So what do you do if you're around people who are telling you negative things, but you can't necessarily get away from those people? You don't have to listen to everything that people say. You might have to hear it, but you don't have to listen to it. Don't let it sink into your subconscious mind. You can ignore stuff. Like, all of you have had, how many of you ever been talking to somebody and they was just being real annoying and you just started ignoring everything that they said, and eventually that person went away? It's the exact same thing with anybody else. If somebody's telling you something negative and for whatever reason you can't get away from that person right now in your life or today or this week or this year, you can ignore it. You don't have to listen to it. You don't have to internalize what somebody else is saying, because whatever you internalize and believe, you're basically setting the path for yourself to get there, because your mind's going to take you wherever you put in your mind. Is going to put itself out there through your physical actions, and whatever you do with your physical actions, that's where you're going to end up. Work on your game. DreAllDay.com. If you want to learn more about everything that I'm talking about, check out my book, The Mental Handbook, also The Mirror of Motivation, on Amazon.com. Dre all day. Thanks for checking out this video. Make sure you follow all my top content up here. Follow me on all your favorite social networks right over here, and make sure you are subscribed to catch all the new content I put on this channel every single day. Work on your game.